So you've probably heard of Lorum Ipsum before, and there are plenty of generators around the web to allow you to generate content that looks like this. And this is generally used for testing when you're building some kind of layout. Some people disagree with using Lorum Ipsum, that's fine. But especially if you're just perhaps working on a very rough output of something, sometimes a big chunk of text like this is useful, because obviously typing all this yourself is really, really difficult. I'm using a plugin in my text editor called Emmet. If you don't already have Emmet, I suggest you go ahead and check this out. It basically allows you to generate markup based on CSS style selectors. And we've covered this in other lessons. So we're not going to go through the basics of Emmet or any of the other functionality. In this video, we're specifically looking at generating Lorum Ipsum. So let's head over to our text editor again and remove this. Now, what's going to happen here is when we do generate Lorum Ipsum, this is actually going to generate random Lorum Ipsum for us. It's always going to be different, which is really useful because sometimes you don't always want the same content. So with Emmet, we'll generate an HTML5 document layout here, and I'll just indent this. And within the body here, we're going to choose a kind of structure that we want to generate down our page. Now let's say we wanted here a section, like so. And let's say within that section, we wanted to have a header. And then under this header, we wanted a couple of paragraph tags, like the following, or a few. We'll do 3 paragraph tags. Okay, so inside of the header, we would obviously want some text here. And inside of the paragraph, we would want text here, and so on and so forth. So doing this way is fine. I've spent perhaps 30 seconds typing all of this out. And then I'd go ahead and I'd head over to some kind of website that would generate Lorum Ipsum for me. And I would copy that and I would paste it in here. But with Emmet, we can do this very, very quickly, and we can do it using predefined selectors that we can expand out. So for example, just to run over the basics, if I wanted, say, 3 sections, I'd do this. That would give me 3 section elements. That's fairly straightforward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap all of my items in a bracket here, and I'm going to times that by, say, 10. And what this means is anything I type in here and expand out, as long as I'm at the end of here, that will be multiplied by 10. So we want 10 section elements. So we want 10 section elements. Now within these section elements, we want to put a H1. We know that. Now within that H1, we want Lorum Ipsum. So let's pull away from this just for a moment. Lorum Ipsum can be generated by typing lipsum and then tabbing. So that basically expands out a selector. Now by default, I don't know how many words this is, but if we were to do lipsum 1, that gives us 1 word. If we do lipsum 2, that gives us 2 words, and the same for 3, 4, 5, you can imagine. So this is really useful because we can define how many words we want generated, which is really, really useful. By default, it's just this, that might do, but you might want a whole article worth of Lorum Ipsum, so you do lipsum 1000. This is entirely flexible. And we can obviously place Lorum Ipsum within elements like this. So for a header, we might expect to have maybe 15 words, or 10 words, let's say. So we've done that now. What we now want is next to the H1, or sort of adjacent to it, we want to have 3 paragraph tags. But what we're going to do here is, because we have included this lipsum text here, we need to go back a selector to then add this next to the H1. Because at the moment, if we were to do an adjacent selector like this, it would add it next to this text and things would get a little bit confusing. So we do this modifier here to go back 1. So then I'm going to say, well, I want 3 paragraphs here. But within them paragraphs, I want more Lorum Ipsum text. And let's say I want 150. So that's a paragraph with Lorum Ipsum in times 3. So let's expand this out. Oops, sorry. We need to do P times 3, I think. There we go. So now we've expanded this out. You can see at the side of my my text editor, Sublime gives you a good view of the whole way down your page. You can see now how much content here has been generated. And we can of course preview this in our browser and just have a look at what this has done. And you can see all of this content has been generated here. And you'll notice that if you check, say, the second paragraph out here, that's different to the second paragraph here. It starts, well, there's different text being generated. So this is really useful. And the same with the header as well. We've got some exclamation marks here. So this is really useful. So that's the selector I've used to generate this. Give it a go, and in your next project, hopefully it'll really speed up your development.